a little more help on changing degrees to radians or radians to degrees, here's a few more examples, and let me know if you need me to work through some more. The main thing that you need to know is that pi radians is 180 degrees, which would mean 2 pi radians is 360 degrees. So think about it, if you have a circle and you start here, you go all the way around, you've went 2 pi r, thinking about it in circumference, so 360 degrees is 2 pi radians. So if you only went halfway, that's only pi radians because that's 180. So I'm going to use this fact quite a bit to set up some more examples for you. First of all, if you have 0 degrees, you're of course at 0 radians. But what if you wanted to know 30 degrees and change that to radians? Well, my suggestion would be to always draw a line, and wherever you're wanting to get to, start with that. And this will work for chemistry, any kind of conversion thing. So I want to get to radians, so I want to start with pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. So I'm putting equivalent things top to bottom. So pi radians is 180 degrees. This problem asks for 30 degrees. And what this allows you to do is you can multiply the top and divide by the bottom. Notice the degrees are gone. So I have 30 times pi divided by 180, which simplifies to pi over 6. So 30 degrees is equal to pi over 6 radians. Okay, now keep in mind if we had a multiple of that, notice when I give you down here at the end is 5 pi over 6. Well, if 1 pi over 6 was 30, 5 times that should be 150, which is what we get to. But I'll still go through and use this same method. Now, what if they give you radians and you want to get back to degrees? Well, same thing. If you're going to draw a line, you start with where you're going to. I want to find degrees, so I'm going to start with my 180 degrees is pi radians. What I write on bottom goes on top, so then I have pi over 4. Notice the radians will cancel out, and you're left with 180 over pi times pi over 4. Pi's cancel, 180 divided by 4 is 45 degrees. So this would be a little 15 degrees past that would be pi over 4. If you doubled that, 45 times 2 is 90 degrees. So if you take pi over 4 and multiplied it by 2, you would get pi over 2. So up here at the top, this would be pi over 2 or 90 degrees. Okay, another question where you start with degrees. So if I'm drawing my line, I'm going to do pi radians because that's where I'm wanting to go over 180. So if you've got this fact learned, that pi radians is 180, it's very simple to convert these. You're going to do the same thing every time. So pi over 180, well, we've got 260. So we're over halfway around the circle. When I multiply across and divide by bottom and simplify this, I get 13 pi over 9. So 260 degrees, which is approximately right here, that would be 13 pi over 9. And last of all, if I've got 5 pi over 6 and I want to get to degrees, I start with degrees on top. 180 degrees is pi radians. I want to know 5 pi over 6. Notice my radians are gone. So my answer is going to be degrees. I've got 180 over pi times 5 pi over 6. Notice the pi's simplify, cancel out to 1. 6 will go into 180 30 times. And just like we said earlier, because pi over 6 was 30, 30 times 5 is 150. So that angle would be about right here. So this is 150 degrees. Or we just found out it was 5 pi over 6. Because if I added another pi over 6, I would be at 6 pi over 6, which is back to my pi is 180. But hopefully this helps out. If you're still stuck, still confused, let me know. I can make some more videos and go over some more of these. But I think this will be a really useful fact just for geometry, ACT, and also going forward to your upper maths. Hope you had a great Easter. Bye-bye.